Alright, hi. The time is 9:10, and this is another recording. That's supposed to be an extension of the last one, but the recording had already gone into an hour. Like I said, I have nothing else to do right now. I'm just enjoying the days that I have here inside a place. And I mean my apartment because after March, like I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm just making the best out of the situation and enjoying the time that I have. Enjoying the time that I have before I have to go and pretty much be in society because kind of I'm being forced into it, not because I want to. Alright, so the conversation for this one is about the Whole Foods Market Distribution Center in Vernon, down 49th and 48th Street, and why I'm no longer working there. Alright? Alright, so I started working at Whole Foods in 2004. May to the end of 2004. And officially, I started working for Whole Foods, I think, in 2005. Like for the actual company. And company hire. So once again, for the recording, this is Michael Carmona. This is part of my story of my life between 2004 up to 2019. All right, and this is the earlier part. This is the earlier part from 2004 up to at least 2010 that I hadn't talked about yet because I'm starting from the more kind of like there's a pattern, but there isn't a pattern. That's all I could say to you. So all right, so in 2004, 2005, I started working for Whole Foods, the company, the distribution center. All right. Like I said, everything was like whatever. See, I'm gonna skip a lot of I'm gonna skip a lot because the main points of this is towards the end. All right. Alright, so towards the end of the time that I was working there, you know, Whole Foods has a like I said, I started working there. I started through an agency, and because of the work that I do, you know, really fast they moved me into like direct hire, right? So okay, jumping into the story now. Right, so I started from the agency. You know, I did loading. I started loading trucks and unloading trucks, and then from that I moved into like receiving, shipping and receiving. You know, shipping and receiving and put away and all that. And then from that I went into inventory. And from the inventory is kind of boring. It was an easy job. Like I'm gonna say it's like whatever. It's an easy job, you know. I was making like, at the time I was making like 15 or 16 by then already. Okay. So I was making an inventory, and it's an easy job. Like I mean, the warehouse is a big warehouse, but the inventory is easy. Or maybe this Caesar, since he did a good job at explaining it to him, that maybe he just made it seem easy to me. But you know, like I said, that guy was cool with me. So you know, if there's any like stuff that I don't know there, then that's a whole different thing. But so yeah, you know, the inventory was easy. It was boring. So I would get bored, like I said, I got bored at work, so I would switch my schedule. I had nothing, even though I was married at the time, I had no obligations to her at the time, because she had no right to tell me nothing, because she had just fucked up. Well, not right away, not recently, but at least for a situation where, it was known. That's what I mean by that, a known situation. Okay? Because there's a lot of unknown situations, but, because they were not known, they get away with it, and that's a different thing, right? So, back in 2004, 2005, I was working for Whole Foods, and, I did everything for them because, like I said, I get bored at work. So then I move around to different spots, and, in the process of that, I try to figure out all the work, the way it functions, and, figure the company out to the max, to the fullest, figure out everything about the company, everything, how it runs, why it runs that way, everything, pretty much. I look into the whole company, not just the management. I look into everything from where the product is coming from, to anything. I can't be specific to everything, but I look into the company. Okay, I look into everything that I can, because I do the research, and pretty much. Once it started, I got the hang of it. So the work got really boring, So then what I would do is that when I would get really bored, I would switch my shift to the night shift. Anybody that works there, that the majority of the night shift is selectors. Selectors usually work from the afternoon. Any people that work selecting work, that is usually in the afternoon. Right. So that's the time of the selecting, all right? And so I moved into selecting. Excuse me. And Whole Foods has a a quota that you have to meet to qualify as a selector. It's enforced, but it's kind of not enforced. But they can. Like I said, anything in any job. See, this is for the newbies and for anybody that's unaware. All right, anything in any job. A job is like a government, right? And based on how you work, there's something you can get away with. There's something you can get away with. There's something that the company will back you up if you're a good worker. And I've always told this to Bertha. Like I said, I'm gonna keep bringing up Bertha because for a long time, her and my son were the only ones that I was socialized with. And she knows about this, so. I'm just letting you know. And so yeah, so I would tell her that, like a lot of this stuff. So now I'm telling it to you guys too, or to you girls, because like I said, mostly on Facebook, I'm focusing on like females because I'm looking for help, and I'm also looking for a partner, but I'm not expecting it to happen overnight. Okay, so yeah, so like, Whole Foods has a quota, you have to, in order for you to qualify as a selector, you have to hit at least 150 items per hour, okay, on the pallet per hour. But it doesn't regulate like that because, they don't make just pallets with 150 items, because then that would be a waste of space and a waste of time, because every time that you put 150 items, then you gotta go drop the pallet and get another one, and that wastes time, right? And that's important for like smaller orders, all right? Like anybody that does selecting will understand what I'm talking about when you're selecting smaller orders, that it's more complicated just because since it's less stuff, then your numbers slower, your numbers slow down because of that. Because you have less stuff, but you still gotta go around the warehouse for all the individual stuff. So then kind of like all the stuff is scattered, but it's in less amount, so then that wastes more time, right? So anybody that is selecting, knows that. Well, at least the selectors that you consider themselves the pros, they know that, right? And any selector knows that any order that you do that's a big order. So if you have an order and you have like an order that has like 800 cases, you know, your job's gonna be easy that day. Even though it is work, your job's gonna be easy because even though you have to go around the warehouse, you know, within that time that it takes that other person that's working in a small order, you're gonna complete like 50% of that order, and you know that's 50% of your numbers right there. And you know that's part of the selecting world. Anybody that is selecting understands that conversation that I'm talking about, right? So the quota is 150. You know, I hit 150 to qualify as a selector. And if you don't hit 150, then they can move you. You know, they can move you or they can terminate you. You know, whichever one they need. It depends, right? Or they can move you. They could ask you if you want to move, you know, to another job title. You know, because it happens, right? Like I was saying, see, anybody that works, see, and if you guys don't work and you guys are newbies going into the workforce, I'm telling you this, right? Because maybe you don't know about it, or maybe people know about it, maybe they don't. But anybody that works good, you know, you're working good, you're working by the rules, and your management appreciates the work. Like I said, a work environment is give and take. You know, you want me to show up off my schedule to go help you do work, then you need to be understanding, you know, on the day that I show up late or I don't, and not give me an ABS just because you think you're somebody. And that's the way it's supposed to work. But they don't do that. See? Or rarely do they do that. You know, it depends on the people too. Because I have been in situations where they do, you know. I've been in situations where the benefits do come through, you know. And like I said, I guess it depends on who you're dealing with. Because other than that, you know, if they don't like you, they're not gonna give you the most out of it, even though they should, because you know, it's, you know, they need to play by the rules too. So the thing is that, okay, so in the quota thing, right, is 150. So then, see, I got the hang of all that fast. You know, I got the hang of the way it works, and you know, I started doing the orders. You know, so I started getting, you know, top numbers. You know, fast. You know, the top numbers, that at least at the time that I was working, that almost, you know, is top numbers, and they're rare, but they're not like, you know, like ultra rare. It's 300 cases per hour, right? That's the at least at the time that I was working, that was like top. You know, you're doing that work. You know, you're doing good work, even though you know you're being, you know, you're just being suckered into doing work. You know. So yeah, so I was always, as a selector, I was always in the top 10. You know, I was always putting the numbers. You know, even on a slow day, I would pull like at least 200 cases, like whatever. You know? Right. So then what happened is that since I was like I said, you know, I do the research, and so then they started being stupid with me. They started being stupid with me. So then I started kind of like what I already specified earlier, right? So once they started being stupid with me, then things change, right? And that's the way it has to be, right? So then they started being stupid with me because, you know, for the same reason, you know, once I did my quota, you know, as soon as I'm done with my time, you know, I want to go, you know, I want to go do something, you know, whatever it is at that time, you know. At that time, I really didn't have anything to do. But like I said, no matter what, work is not where I want to be. Who wants to go to work? Honestly, if you go to work because you go meet up somebody, if you could make it not like that, you will make it not like that. So you're not going to work because you want to go to work, right? Even if you think you like going to work, you know, like I said, it's nobody's American dream to want to work a job, right? So, and if it isn't, that's a sad dream. But that's your dream, you know. Don't let me kill your dream on that. But I'm just saying, that's a sad dream, you know. So yeah, you know. So like I said, I was saying, so yeah, like I was like I was doing top numbers quick, and so then it started pissing off. It started pissing off the the people that were doing selecting more than me, because you guys gotta understand. I switched from inventory. Anybody that works in a warehouse or in any kind of job, they know that there's two levels. There's office people and there's warehouse people, and sometimes, but rarely, like sometimes there's like office people and warehouse people. But anybody that works in those environments, they know that the office people, the office people think they're more classy, more sophisticated because they're in an office, and the office people think that the warehouse people, the best way I could think of it is thinking that they're brutes. Brutes or barbarians. They're just like out there, doing work, and that's the way that the work economy is viewed by people, right? That's why they devalue, manual labor, because that's the way they see it. Right? So and that's what happens. The office people think that the labor people have it kicked back because they might not have certain responsibilities or certain stress, and the labor people think that the office people have it kicked back because they're technically not doing nothing. They're technically just sitting down all day on a monitor and whatever, and that's the way they see it, right? So and that causes barriers. Like I said earlier, everything about work is barriers, because like I said, the employer doesn't want, even though they tell you, the employer doesn't want all the employees getting along, because once that happens, then the employer loses power over the employees, because they back each other up, and they don't want that. The employers don't want the employees backing each other up, because once that happens, the loyalty shifts. Once that happens, the loyalty is no longer, because we need the job. Once the loyalty shifts, then the employees could back up. The employees could save your work. The employees could save your job. That's the thing that you as employees or contractors, because I'm calling you guys contractors now. You guys don't understand that you as contractors have a lot of power amongst each other, because amongst each other, if you guys back each other up as employees, I'm talking as employees or contractors, however you guys want to consider yourself. I'm calling you guys contractors to pretty much to hire your status, right? To hire your status for what it should be and how it should be meant to be taken at work. You're not an employee, you're a contractor being hired by a company that needs to work because they can't do it themselves, because that's the truth. That's the concept, all right? So as like in that situation, it doesn't benefit the employer, because anytime that there's any mishaps that are out of his control, then it makes it harder for him to figure out what's going on, because everybody's backing each other up, and that's what they don't want. Okay, you guys need to understand that, right? So what happened is that I started selecting, and like I said, this third-party concept is not something that just happens in one location. This third-party concept is a universal concept. Okay, you guys gotta understand that it's a universal concept that it applies in every continent on Earth that's doing business. That's doing business. At least that's the way that I'm speaking it. At least I'm speaking it to Earth. All right, Earth. Anybody that does business on Earth, like that's the concept that is backing up most of the stuff, right? whether they're aware of it or whether they're doing it by accident. If they're doing it by accident, it's because the government's backing it up. Whether they're aware of it or not, because that's what they do. All right, so yeah, okay. So I started figuring out how to get my numbers done and leave on time. And they didn't like that. They didn't like that at all. Because, some people like being at work. Or or because they're making the overtime and they're making money, they think they're being smart because they're making money just to be there. And if they could tolerate it, that's them, but that's their choice. See, I let them live their life, so they need to let me live mine, right? If you want to trick yourself that you go to work because that good-looking guy or that pretty girl is there, and sometimes you talk to them, or you do talk to them, or you guys kick it or whatever. See, that's your choice. And that's the choice that you made, right? But if I want to just do my work and not get stuck on the good-looking females and just take off and go home or go wherever I'm gonna go, then that's my choice. And you guys, I'm respecting everybody's choice on that. So everybody needs to respect my choice, and not give me any drama over it. And they don't do that. You see, that's the thing. See, so once I figured out how to get my numbers done on time, they started having a big issue with me because they started saying the same thing, like, hey, we have overtime, and if you complete your numbers, then you could help us out. And I said, all right, I could help you out, I could help you out with a little bit, but I'm not gonna stay to the end of the time that you guys want, because that's an exaggerated time, See, no matter what, see, I'm gonna talk about a concept that is out there that maybe you don't realize, or maybe it's not understood. Okay, everything is rank, and I'm like I said, this is not negative talk, because I'm on the government side. All right, I'm on the government side. So United States government, I'm on your side, and if you guys want to give me a job, I'll prove it to you that I'm on your side, right? So this concept that a lot of people don't understand is, I had talked about it earlier on. Okay, certain people in life, no matter how hard you try, you're not ever going to accomplish anything. And that's the truth, because there's this system that you guys are not aware of, and the system is not known. And I'm not going to specify too much about it, okay? I'm not going to specify too much about it, but some people kind of know what I'm talking about, right? There's this system that most of you are not aware. And, some of you are not ever going to achieve anything. And it's the truth. And it's not because you suck. It's just because they're not going to let you. Okay? They're not going to let you because they're not, for whatever reason. I can't tell you the reason, because the reason applies different to the individual. Right? So, this is the thing, no matter how hard you try, you're not ever going to accomplish something. See? And for certain people, it's the same thing, but opposite. No matter how hard you don't try, no matter how much you try not to, you're gonna make it, because they want you to make it. And that's the way it works. Alright? Like I said, government, this is not negative talk. I'm for the government. Okay? I'm for all governments. And if you guys give me a government job, I'll prove it to you. So I'm saying it. This is not anti-government talk. This is pro-government talk that I'm saying. Right? So if anything, don't take this as me, take this as me trying to get your attention to see that, to prove to you something, okay? And I'm being serious, government, United States government, or NASA, like I said earlier, it's hard for this concept to be received through you guys, because like I said, the government is not one body, the government is not one person, the government is not, the government symbolizes one individual, okay? And I'm not gonna specify what it is, but you guys know what it is. It's on the dollar bill, and it's not the I, okay? But it kind of is. But you guys know what I mean. The government symbolizes one person, symbolizes one, and I'm telling you guys that I'm pro-government, okay? So, back to the conversation, right? you know, there's this system that a lot of you are not aware of, and I'm not gonna talk about it too much because, you know, like I said, but you guys gotta take my word for it. Like, I know that you guys don't know me, you're gonna be like, okay, you know, what are you talking about? But there's a system that you guys are not aware of, that no matter how hard you try, for certain of you, you guys are not gonna do it. Like I said, right? It's not gonna happen for you. See, and I'm gonna help you see. I'm gonna help you see, help you try to see it. All right? Maybe I could accomplish that. Maybe I don't. But maybe I might start something for you, then you start to realize it. Right? Okay. I'm gonna use my example. All right? Okay. So like I said, I'm gonna try to go over it quick so it doesn't, you know, doesn't repeat on the conversation. But like I said, you know, starting in January, if I would have kept working where I was working, by now, by the end of March, I would have had my rent completed for the whole year. For the whole year, in 3 months, I would have accumulated a whole year's worth of rent. Right? And that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to point out. You know? See, right there, I had an opportunity for the good life to happen for me, but they didn't let me. See, they didn't let me, and I'm proving it because it wasn't because of my lack of work. You know, it wasn't because of my lack of being able to do the work. It was because pretty much they wanted to. The job that I took wasn't the job that was there. You know, and that's the thing that I'm trying to explain right here, right? See, so by now. See, right now I'm about to be poor. Well, not poor because it's already, that kind of already applies, right? So like by now I'm about to become homeless, right? You know, because I'm not gonna have the funds to pay the rent right here, and I really don't want to stay here no more in this place anyway. So that's why it doesn't matter. You know, it sucks. But it doesn't matter. All right, but the point is that either way, I would have been set for the year already. Okay, so that means that the rest of the time, say, pretty much starting in April, any work that I would have done at that company, it would have just been profit. Like I explained earlier, it would have been just profit for me, for anything that I wanted to do. And that's the point that I'm trying to make here. See, if that pattern would have continued, then that's what I'm trying to say. You know, that pattern would have continued. See, if I'm telling you that by March I would have had my whole year's rent, then I just gotta put it aside and not worry about that no more. Okay, so I could wait till next year to accumulate those 3 months again in the same way, or you know, I could just go half a year and say, okay, I'm gonna save half a year's worth of money for 2 years of rent, and the other half is gonna be my spending money. And that's what I'm trying to make you realize. You know, that's how good I was about to have it. But because the guy at work, Jim, the other guy, Jose, and the other guy, Mr. Ted, his first name is Nathan, from work, they had their own personal agendas that didn't involve me, because of what I've been talking to you, that, you know, the third party concept and the empty spot, you know, they didn't want to give it to me. They didn't want to give it to me because of the way that I am, you know, because I like saying to myself, and since it makes it hard for them to be able to talk to me, not to talk to me, but to, you know, to conversate with me, or like I said, I don't know, you know, I don't know if they don't know how to approach me, or they just don't know how to talk to me, or they just don't know how to, you know, I don't know, like I can't, I have my own theories on that, but whatever. Okay. So yeah, you know, the other example is that pretty much, you know, I stopped working a job in January, and you know, it's been 2 months, you know, and I was still living in this apartment, and you know, I've been smoking weed, you know, like I've been smoking weed, you know, I've been kicking back, and you know, like I said, I can't go see my son because his mom made it so that they're in a location where I don't want to go, visit him no more. For that reason, because then I gotta deal with all her family, and like I said, her family doesn't like me, so then there's nothing that I can do right there. And like I said, my son doesn't want to come over here no more because whatever. You guys, I think you guys could understand it, right? And so then I was like, all right, like I said earlier, that's I had to start my own life, and that's part of it. So I've just been kicking back. I've been kicking back, just getting like I said, if I keep being there, if I keep being here, they're gonna keep doing that to me. Every time that I get close to breaking even, they're gonna cause a situation for that, and that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to other people, that you might not understand it, that concept's out there, and I'm giving you ways to help you see it, to help you see that the stuff that I'm telling you is for real. So it's not just my that I'm not just thinking it up or just whatever. I'm telling you that that's the way that it is. All right, so then all these conversations is that so I hopefully they started doing the same thing. As soon as I was done, like I said, at that time it was a similar situation. I was doing my own thing. So even though my personal life is whatever, I still don't want to be at work. Like I said, who wants to be at work? If your reasons for being at work is someone else, if you could move that out of that, you would. If you could move the situation away from the work, you will move it away from the work. If you don't move it away from the work, it's because either you're cheating or you have other things going on that you're trying to make it not like that. So other than that, people should not want to go to work. That's what I'm trying to say. See, by your own choice, you should not want to go to work. Okay? You should go to work because you have to, not because you want to. Because there really is no need for people to be at work that can be done from another location. That's the truth. The only reason they do it is because it creates drama. It creates intermingling of people. People having to socialize, and people having to be at close quarters. You're working at a place. You're working in a place, and you're working in a small office. And you're the girl that's sitting down by the printer. So every time that I reach over to the printer and put my copy, my scent is gonna go in your direction because I'm moving. So in the process of me moving, I create a an airwave. I create an airwave of scent, and it applies to everybody. Seeing all that, that's all the stuff that I'm trying to explain in the situation. Why it makes all that. See, for other people, I guess if you're like horny little fuckers, then you might like it. You might enjoy it, just being in that situation. I'm telling you straight out. It applies to guys and girls, Sorry for my language, but that's the best way that I could describe the situation for the point to be taken. All right, so you're over there at work. You're working in an office, and you're a girl. And you have all these guys. You have all these guys. They're going into the office, and every time they go into the office, their scent gets thrown into the room. And you're that girl, all day long you're smelling that scent, all day long, And that applies for males too, if you're that guy. You're the guy working in inventory in that office, not to be explicit, but scent is scent. You can smell scent, okay? So every time those females pass by, you can smell them, you can smell that, you can smell their scent. See, if you have a sensitive nose, if a female passes by, you can smell when they're on a rag. You could tell, you could tell when they're on a rag because you get the scent. You get the scent. No, if you can't smell it, then you could tell. You could tell by the way they dress. By the way they change their style. Some women tend to in a situation like that, some women tend to dress up like layers, and other women tend to dress in dark colors because in case situations that women would understand that. I don't want to get into it because it's not too much about that, but I'm using it to for the females, for you guys to understand that that I get your point of view a little bit. If that's the way you take it, that I get your point of view a little bit, right? But I'm not trying to offend. Like I said, if it happens, I'm sorry. But I'm letting you know in advance that tends to happen to me a lot when I talk to people. So if you get offended, then you might understand why sometimes I choose not to. Right? So all that, okay? That's just part of it. Okay? I'm gonna get explicit in this conversation, but not because I'm trying to be dirty or explicit. It's just because that's the way that it needs to be explained to get the point across, right? So, see, now you gotta think. Okay, think about yourself. Right? Think about yourself for a second, whether you're a male or a female. Right? And please excuse my language and the content. But like I said, if it's kids that are listening to this is not for you. So I'll mention it. I'm pointing it out so that if you're listening to this, certain conversations are kind of clean and there's nothing explicit. So those conversations, you could take them for yourself if you want to hear them. But I'm pointing it out for any children that are on Facebook, on their fake accounts or whatever. And then this conversation is not for you. So this conversation is for this conversation is at least for teenagers. Any teenager that's about to become 18 or about to go into the real world or the market of the work market. Or the dating market, because no matter what everything's a market. Okay, so that's part of it. All right. So you women know. You women know that there's some guys. I'm saying this because of me. It's because of myself. Like I'm stating it because of my personal self. Like I'm stating this, alright? So listen to this. Because I'm saying it. I'm using myself as an example. Okay? I don't mean any disrespect. Okay? So please don't take any disrespect for the content. Like I mean it in the most respectful way, but it's a concept that it's kind of dirty, so it's kind of to make it respectful. But you women, that there's guys. Like I said, I'm speaking from my own self. Okay, so when I say guys, I'm including myself as one of those guys. All right, so understand that I'm making it because I think they isn't gonna understand that. I'm using myself as an example, but I'm not the only one. There is other guys out there that think that logic, all right? You women know that there's guys that are down for you when you're on your rag. You know that there's guys that are down to to fuck when you're on your rag. There's guys that prefer it. I'm one of those guys. I prefer to do you when you're on your rag because it limits certain stuff, right? So me being around you when that happens, like I said, that's the same thing. All that makes it uncomfortable. See, all that makes it uncomfortable for that kind of environment, for anything, because like I said, scent is scent, and based on the level of your sensitivity of your nose, then like I said, that's part of it. And then another part of it then is natural body, natural body smell. You're in close quarters in a place. Like I said, this applies to males and females. You're in close quarters, and I mean in a room. Like the offices and all that. So sometimes the offices, they make them really compact, and maybe it's not coincidence. Maybe it's all part. I'm gonna sidetrack just for a second, just to explain this part, right? And anybody that's in this and has worked in this industry, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm an architectural student. I've been doing architectural work for a long time. I just don't work in it because I enjoy the work, and working in the environments that I work, I don't want to risk. I don't want to risk losing my love for that work because of work. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Does anybody that's listening to this kind of get what I'm saying? I don't mean it like love, but I mean I enjoy doing that. See, so if I get into any situation that I get into that is gonna give me any profit right now, I gotta jump into a company that's already established. And companies are already established, they're gonna run you like a company no matter what. They're gonna try to run you like a company. That's the truth, right? They're not gonna try to run you, even if you're an architect. They're not gonna try to run you like an architect. They're gonna try to run you like an employee. Just because you're doing it through their company, and that's the way they do it. Because like I said, I guess companies are scared of the competition. They're scared of real competition. They're not scared of fake competition that is them competing against themselves. Like Coca-Cola and Powerade. Coca-Cola and Powerade. You go to the store and you feel like you have a choice, but no matter what, your choice is still Coca-Cola because Powerade is made by Coca-Cola. So technically, you don't have a choice. And I'm saying this concept because this is a concept that I will talk to Bertha a lot. Alright, so I'm saying she knows this concept. Right? Everybody has a choice. Understand that. You all have a choice. Okay? Sometimes those choices are not in your favor. And that's what you gotta understand. But everybody has a choice. Right? And that's the catch to it. That's the catch 22 to that. Right? So anybody that knows catch 22, you guys understand what I'm talking about. Or it actually supposed to be catch 18. Not catch 22. It's catch 18. So I'm re-editing that. It's catch 18. Anybody that knows the concept of catch 22, the proper terminology for that is catch 18. Anybody knows that the person that anybody knows that book, the name was changed for whatever BS excuses they want to create. Okay. The concept is catch 18, not catch 22. It's catch 18. Okay, so see all that makes it an uncomfortable situation at work. Like I said, for certain guys, you guys might be into it. For certain girls, you might be into it. But like I said, that's your choice. You're choosing to make that your choice because it's something that you're into or something that you're down for. You don't have to be into it to be down for. It's all different things. Okay. So on top of that, like I said, this body order, you're that guy or you're that girl that's in the office. You're that guy, was in the office doing inventory, and all these people keep passing by you, and you getting their scent, the natural smell, and all that, all that creates a comfortness, right? Maybe you guys are not aware about all this, but all that creates a comfortness because because of that, and see. Like I said, some people like it. Some people like it, and they want to be there. All smooshed up against everybody because, maybe that's how they get their jollies. How they say, that's how they get their kicks. That's what they like. But I'm telling you, that's not me. That's not my situation. See, and I respect those people. I respect those people's choices. That's what they're into. See, but by me respecting those people's choice, those people had to respect my choice too. And you know, I have the right to exist too. So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, you know, all that makes it like see, and on top of that, you know, not everybody see, it could be a good looking girl. See, it could be a good looking guy, but then this is where it starts getting more scientific, where it starts getting into chemistry, you know, their body smell, their body reaction might not be the one that does anything for you, or it might be, you know, opposite to pretty much to be like, oh, you know, I don't want that person around me, or you know, that makes it uncomfortable, because how do you tell people stuff like that, you know? And I'm not just talking about me being the one that tells them about other people, you know, it applies to myself too, you know. Like I said, I respect people's personal space, and just like I don't want your smell near me, I respect that you might not want my smell near you, and all that starts making me, you know, all that starts making situations because of that, you know, in order to keep all that, you know, in a certain situation, then it starts making situations, because then people take it the wrong way, or people take it in a different way that it's not, and then they start thinking their own stuff, and that's what happens, you know. That's what happens to me. That's part of what happens to me at work. See, it's funny, you know. Like I said, at Whole Foods, that really didn't happen to me, because the majority at Whole Foods, the majority of the employees are males. Okay, the majority of the employees at Whole Foods are males, and they only have like a few females, and they work in the office. And like I said, the warehouse, the Whole Foods warehouse is a big warehouse, right? And the offices it's a big office too. So you're going into the office, you know. If you don't need to, then you don't have to. So at Whole Foods, I really didn't have any issues with that, because as they didn't have any females, and they had a lot of guys. So then I could use that to my advantage to kind of like to, not, I want to say it like this, but I don't mean it like that. See, when there's a lot of guys involved and there's women involved, and I try to avoid the game, and I could hide amongst the guys, you know, I could hide amongst all the other guys, because, you know, if they're good looking too, then all I gotta do is just throw them ahead of me, and, you know, they're gonna take that, and that's the way that works. See, I'll just keep promoting them. I'll keep promoting them personally, you know, until I convince you that that's what you want. And that way, you know, I could get by, and, you know, and you get distracted on that guy, and I could get my work done. And that's the thing that I'm trying to explain to people about situations that happen to me at work, because that's how I work around that, you know. And like I said, and hopefully it really didn't happen that much, because like I said, there's a lot of guys working there. So because of that, I'm able to hide amongst them. Like, not literally, but I get lost in the crowd. You guys know what I mean. Okay, so that's why I was able to work there a long time, because, you know, that's what I would do. You know, that's how I managed to work there for years, right? And I was doing the same thing. At True Fresh HPP. I was doing the same thing. The only thing it's a small company. It has like at least 100 employees, but it's a small company. Like, it has like at least 100 employees, but it has them, like, I'm gonna say, split amongst the shifts. Amongst all three shifts, it probably has like, I would say like 120 or 150. Yeah, but I think it's more like 100 employees, you know. So maybe like maybe from 35 to 75 employees per shift. But no matter what, you know, one of my shift, I'm gonna be working the majority of it, and it might overlap to another one of the shift. But the morning shift and the night shift, there's no in between shift for the production. So that means that, you know, at True Fresh HPP, most of the females are either working in the office or they're working in the production lines because it's an easy job. You know, all they gotta do is open the packs and, you know, pass them on and whatever. But they have guys working there too. See? So that place made it a little bit more difficult for me to work there. And I'm gonna take a quick break. It's 10:01 a.m. It's still Thursday, March 28th. I'm gonna take a quick break and I'll come back right now. All right, I'm gonna pause the recording. All right, when I come back, I'm gonna state the time. I'm gonna take like a 10-minute break. All right, I'll come back.